To another Sunday WOAY ABC4 Community Forum, where we talk to community leaders and local success stories to discuss important information that affects all of us here in Southern West Virginia. I'm your host, Brandy Lawrence, and today we're joined by another distinguished guest. Wendy Peroni, who is the Executive Director of the Three Rivers Avian Center, joins us today, and she brought a special guest, Dawn the Barn Owl. Thank you guys for coming back to the forum.
Sure, we're delighted to be here.
Absolutely, we're delighted to have you both. And I know last time we had Gimli, who's an American kestrel, I believe. Mm-hmm. Yes, and now this time we have Dawn the Barn Owl. So can you tell us a little bit about barn owls?
Okay, barn owls are actually fairly uncommon in West Virginia, and they're disappearing throughout their habitat. So particularly in the United States. This is a retired breeder. She's been captive raised, and from the time that she was able to start breeding, she started, laying eggs, and those eggs were then hatched out and became other barn owls to go to falconers and restoration programs. And Dawn here is retired. She was retired at 5 years old. We got her in December, and they have very, very quiet wings. You might have heard her. She was flapping around here a few minutes ago, and she's doing really well, but she's new to it.
She looks very beautiful, and I know she's been trying to get away a little bit and flapping her wings.
Stretching her wings a little bit, yeah, she's doing that.
Awesome, awesome. So for people that may not be familiar with the Three Rivers Avian Center, can you give them a little education about what you all do?
We take care of injured wild birds, everything from hummingbirds to eagles, as long as it's non-game species. And we do everything from veterinary and rehabilitative work to restoration projects to a lot of environmental education programming.
Awesome, awesome. And we've actually been up there, me and a couple other people that work here went up, and it's a really awesome place to be. So like if you guys are ever in the area and they're open to public tours, go take a look at everything they do up there. It's really cool.
Thanks.
A lot of
Keeps
things
us busy.
I'm sure, definitely. We saw that eagle out there. I'd never seen an eagle like in person before. And,
oh wow.
You never really see how big they are, and like how big that one was in particular. So it was really cool.
They
really
get bigger.
Cool to see. It's amazing to think about that, because that one was a pretty nice size. So to see they get bigger than that, amazing.
Yeah.
So you actually have a bird of prey event coming up. It'll be past the time that forum airs, but can you tell me a little bit about what that's about?
We'll be presenting our program, Wings of Wonder, West Virginia Birds of Prey, at Pipestem State Park on Saturday, March 2nd at 7 p.m. in the conference room. And we're going to have 6 birds with us. Dawn will be there. We'll also have Regis, the bald eagle you just mentioned, and Gimli, the American kestrel, are going to be there. A total of 6 raptors, and we bring them out and we talk about the ecosystems they live in and why these individuals aren't back out in the wild, because we do try to get them back out in the wild. All the birds that we use in our educational programs are non-releasable. So they're all going to be with us. And it's a fun, about hour-long program, 45 minutes to an hour, and pretty interactive. So.
I'm sure a lot of people love that. I'm sure the kids especially.
Oh yeah,
to be able to see.
Yeah. We line the kids up on the front row.
Yeah, they gotta get a close-up look.
That's right.
So Dawn is a barn owl, and I know that there are also barred owls. So what is the difference between those two? Because I know sometimes people think one is the other.
Yes, yes. Well, this is a barn owl, and you can see she's got spots all over her back like that. And she's got a white coloring in front and brownish color all over. If you're looking at a barred owl, B-A-R-R-E-D, the name barred comes because when they stretch their wings out, they have white bars on their dark wings, and they have white spots, big spots all over their back and wings. The front is usually sort of white with streaks, and they're much more fluffy. You can see how Dawn here is a barn owl, B-A-R-N, is more linear, and that's because they're very closely related to falcons. They're more closely related to falcons than they are to the other owls.
You can kind of see the little falcon attributes there, kind of in the fur there.
Yeah.
So.
Nice long wings that cross in the back. Yeah.
Awesome. So you say that barn owls are not as common to West Virginia. Are barred owls a little more?
Barred owls are very common. They're the ones that has the woohoo, 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 woohoo-ah call, right? They also have a whole bunch of others, including some that sounds like screams and shrieks, which can really raise the hair on your head if you're not expecting it. But these guys have several calls that are different. They have a sort of a screeching train brakes sound, which is a territorial sound. It's very loud. And then when they're happy and just relaxed and something's made them interested or happy about things, they have a chuckle that sounds like a squeaky flywheel. So, yeah, so they have all sorts of interesting little variations between the two.
And we were kind of talking about how all owls move their heads around and things. You said that they're triangulating.
Right.
So for the people out there that may not be familiar with that, can you explain what that means?
Okay, everybody has used triangulation. If you've ever tried to catch a ball in the air, you notice how you go this way and then this way and you figure out where you're going to be. That's because you're looking at it from two different angles and you can judge exactly which angle you're supposed to be at. Well, the same thing with birds. You know, if they're listening like a barn owl does, that facial ruff that you're seeing there is actually a hearing device. And it's like this part of us on our ear, and that they can push that forward or move it back or turn it up and turn it down a little bit. And these feathers in the front that you see right at her nose, those can also be moved this way and that way. So it's sort of like we can cup our ears to hear better, or a horse or a dog can move their ear to hear better. They do the same thing. So, but the triangulation helps them also. You know, so you know, okay, I'm listening here and I'm listening there. Is it sounding the same? Okay, that's right there then. And they're very interesting. They've been studied quite a bit. They have incredible hearing, first of all, and the estimate is that they can hear a mouse under about 4 feet of snow, just running along, if it's got a tunnel to run along with, you know. But they also can hear so well that if you blindfold them, they can still find their prey. Yeah, it's amazing. Hi.
And you did say mice is their favorite food.
Small rodents.
Small rodents.
Yep. On occasion, they'll take other things, but most of the time it's small rodents in general. So mice, chipmunks, that sort of thing.
So how many does Dawn get a day?
She gets anywhere from 2 to 3 a day. Yeah, and every now and then she just decides that she's full and she doesn't want any more. So on those days she just sort of coasts. So.
And you said the males are a little bit smaller, so they eat about the same amount as a female?
Yeah, they'll eat about two mice or so. And that's because, as we say, these guys are perch potatoes. Okay, you've heard of a couch potato. Well, these are perch potatoes. They don't go out and work for a living. Now, if you've got a barn owl going out and hunting the way they normally do, they'll take something up to the small size of a small rabbit, you know, and that will feed them for that day, and then they'll have to do something else again. So they'll go after rats a lot and squirrels too.
So it's so awesome to see that, like, you know, what type of wildlife and the type of birds, you know, living in our area. Well, not so much Dawn as often, but but you know, you can see the much more common ones at you know, Three Rivers Avian. But you know, for the people out there that may be interested in birding and things like that, how can they help out the bird population?
There's several things. If you can, put water out for them. We encourage everybody to use bird feeders and bird seed that's good quality. And suet is great year-round. We constantly get the question, you know, well, it's summertime, should I put suet out? We say all year round, because we've noticed that the adults will bring the chicks once they fledge to the suet cakes and show them, you know, where it is and stuff like that. So it does actually help in their overall body condition and growth and feather condition.
Awesome. And I think you all had some information about like how to make like some of these things, or where you can find some of those like bird foods. And you may have them at the event and things. I think I picked one up at the Three Rivers Avian Center because I learned a lot just from the paperwork. So.
Yeah, we have lots of brochures. Yeah, yep. And there's recipes for how to make suet if you don't want to go buy it and all that good stuff. Yeah.
Awesome.
Hummingbird feeders, usually we put those out starting in April. And we'd encourage everybody to please remember to not put coloring in your hummingbird food, it needs to just be quarter cup of sugar to 1 cup of water. No additives, no nothing. They get all the nutrition that they need from the flowers and stuff that they go after. Their protein source is actually small insects. So it's interesting. I watched a hummingbird one morning going along, and it was carefully finding all the spider webs in the morning and picking out all the little tiny gnats and leaving the spider web completely intact. You know, why raid the refrigerator and then break the refrigerator, right?
Yeah. I'll be back for more later. So.
Poor spider worked hard for those.
So if somebody else comes and takes over that web, then I'll be back for the rest of my food.
That's it.
Yeah, and I don't think a lot of people think about that. Like, everybody thinks of hummingbirds are just so pretty and, like, you know, just drinking their, sugar water and things like that. But I don't think they think of them eating, like, insects and things like that. So.
Yeah, they're interesting birds.
That's another bird I've never seen in person. So
you haven't seen a hummingbird?
Not in person, no.
Oh, stick around.
Yeah, I might have to get interested in birding too, because I'm sure they're around here, but I haven't got my eyes on one quite yet. So.
Oh, well, we can help you out on that.
So I think last time we spoke a little bit about I don't know if it was pesticides and things like that. Can you give people a refresher about what type of pesticides they should be using to, protect the birds?
Okay. We encourage you to not use them.
Yes.
Okay, that's the basics. For these guys, for example, and a lot of raptors eat small rodents. Okay, and a lot of people don't like to see the mouse running around. So, put out some poison bait or whatever. Well, if the mouse or small rodent gets out of the trap or whatever, then that is running around with poison in its body. We've actually had red-shouldered hawk family wiped out because of that just a couple of years back. So a farmer decided he got tired of the rats in his barn, and the red-shouldered hawks were raising young, and they were feeding the rats to the young, and so they killed both parents and the chicks. Yeah. So we encourage everybody to not use pesticides if you can possibly avoid it. And glue traps are really, really bad. Very, very bad. I don't know how many birds we get in the springtime where people have put glue traps out, and then parents are out foraging for the youngsters and they get into a glue trap, and it's hard to get that out of their feathers. Sometimes it takes months for the feathers to grow back. Sometimes the bird dies because they panic so much. They're one of the most inhumane traps that there is.
You guys let the rats live because the birds need them. They're going to eat them.
You can use snap traps.
Snap traps are fine.
Snap traps are fine. They're safe. But leave the poisons out. Yeah.
Because you got to be aware of, there are other animals out there. You may be hurting something else. So thank you. It's really great information for us to know, and really good information for me to remember. So we're about to go to our first break, but before we go, do you mind plugging you all's contact information so people can learn more about, the Three Rivers Avian Center and Dawn here?
Okay, we have a very active Facebook page. There are new posts every morning at 8 o'clock, Monday through Friday. And we have an events section on there. We also have a very extensive website, www.tracwv.org, and their phone number and contact information is right on both of those.
Awesome. All right, well, you guys stay tuned. I will be right back with Wendy and Dawn, and we're going to speak more about Three Rivers Avian Center and what you can do to help protect the birds. Welcome back to Sunday Community Forum. I'm here with Wendy Peroni from the Three Rivers Avian Center. She's the executive director, and she brought Dawn, the barn owl, with us today. And we were talking about how barn owls, you don't really see them that often in West Virginia. But even if you probably did see a barn owl, you probably wouldn't know, because you said that they fly very quietly. So.
Yeah, they're very quiet flyers, and actually all owls are, but these guys, one of the nicknames. Whoa. You coming back? Come back up. There you are. One of the nicknames for these birds is actually the ghost owl because they're so quiet. They fly over top of a field, usually with their heads hanging down, straight down, and they use that facial ruff as sort of like a sonic ear, and that allows them to hear really well. So they can glide for a long time on these wings. You can see that right here they have a serrated edge on the end of the wing here, and that helps break up the sound. Then there's fuzz on all of the feathers, and that helps break up the sound. Plus the feathers are somewhat flexible too. So between the three of them makes it so they can fly very, very quietly and just sort of ghost over an open field.
That's so cool. That's a really cool name too, a ghost owl.
Yeah, it has so many. One of the nicknames is a monkey-faced owl.
I could see that a little bit.
Yeah.
She's extremely pretty, and
She knows it.
yes, she's been a superstar here this entire time. So, and you may have heard her wings flapping a little bit there, when she flew, but you wouldn't if she were looking for prey.
Right, right. Now, right now she's not caring too much if she makes noise.
Yeah.
Right.
And she produces really wonderful wind. Like anytime she flaps her wings, it's better than any fan. So thank you for
the best fan going.
The best fan ever. So we'll have to give you another name for that. So you all have your tours coming up in May where people can, come and look around and meet Dawn. What does that? What does that entail? That people can come up and you'll educate them on all the different types of birds and things you'll have there.
We have 13 ambassadors. So in this year, we've into our ambassador squad, we've added a raven. We have Dawn the barn owl, and those are new species that we haven't had at the center before. So people should really enjoy that. But we have owls, falcons, hawks, and bald eagle. And a raven now, and we give you a tour of the facility so you can see what we do. We do not show the birds that are in rehabilitation, and we don't show that part. You get to see, the rest of the facility. We have lots of hands-on displays, and as we were talking about earlier, brochures, lots of brochures, and we enjoy just having it be informal. We chat with everybody. The tours are guided. You're not allowed to just go wander. But when you come back from the tour or whatever, you can hang around and chat with us about whatever is on your mind. And it gets very interesting. The tours run from 1 to 5 p.m. on the first Saturday, May through October, from 1 to 5 again. The last tour starts at 4:30. So yeah, it's fun, and it's great for kids of all ages and all adults, all abilities. It's fun.
Yeah, I definitely had a good time up there. So I'm sure anybody else would definitely have a good time and learn a lot about and see things you've probably never seen before. Like I don't think I've ever seen a raven in person. So.
And Myrtle is gorgeous.
Myrtle,
yeah.
I love that name. I was like, I'm glad you could have played it real easy and just named a raven.
No, not at our place.
So what is something unique about ravens that maybe a lot of people don't know?
Oh gosh, ravens are amazing birds. They have an incredible vocabulary, and they're picking up sounds all the time and mimicking them. So we never know what's coming out of Myrtle's mouth next, and we just hope it's clean, So far it has been. And they are usually found in higher elevations. They used to be in West Virginia, and then for a long time they were gone, and now they're coming back in on their own. So we're seeing them particularly in areas that have cliffs. But though they nest with big stick nests, sometimes they'll reuse those again and again. And they're very opportunistic as to what they put in the nest, how they make it. There's evidence of them having used leftover fencing that was left around. There's always a blue tarp piece somewhere, it seems like, in all birds' nests. Then they line it with vegetation, sometimes fur from surrounding animals, things like that. So they're really, really cool. They can live a long time. Actually, they can live to be over 40 years old.
Wow.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah. Long life.
And probably because they're so resourceful, they're looking around for things to...
They're excellent problem solvers, yeah. She has a habit of stashing stuff and hiding things in her mews. That's an indoor or outdoor run. The technical term is a mews, M-E-W-S. And so she likes to bury things. So every now and then we'll give her some new thing to play with. And Ron gave her a commemorative toy not too long ago, and she really liked that. She waited till we were out of sight and buried it, right away. And it's like, this is special. Nobody else is getting this.
So we've heard about, Myrtle's kind of quirks there. Does Dawn have anything that she does that's a little special, particular?
She really likes to stay in her box. She has a nest box that she can dive into, and she really likes to stay in there. She's learning how to get used to people. She's not been out to people a lot. She's been handled, but not out to people very much. So she's learning about all that. And she's doing really well, we think.
She is. She's a superstar.
She knows it too.
Yes, she does, and she should. So is Dawn going to be at the center for a while, or will Dawn ever be, released back into the wild? Or?
Well, she was captive raised to begin with, so she'll never go back out. You can see she's got a little gold band right here. That indicates that she's captive raised. And she will stay with us for the rest of her life. She's 6 years old now. And she will live to be somewhere around 20 to 24 years old. So she's got a long life ahead of her yet.
Well, we've got a lot of time to spend with Dawn.
Yes, we do.
That's awesome.
And we were just talking with somebody in the studio a minute ago. It's like, her name is D-A-W-N. Not D-O-N. It's D-A-W-N, Dawn.
Yeah, that's what a lot of us thought when we heard Dawn. When they came and got me, they were like, oh, she's about to bring out Dawn. I was like, oh, Dawn? But D-A-W-N. So that's why I had to get her a lower third too. So I was like, just so everybody knows, Dawn is a lady. She is a bar now.
Yes.
So is there anything else that the public can do to help you all out at the Three River Avian Center, or to help preserve the birds?
Well, we always need donations, first and foremost. That really helps keep the lights on, keeps us able to get food for the birds and in our care, get our medications and stuff. So that donations are really, really important to us. As far as wild birds, there's several things. We're coming into spring migration, so it's a really good idea to try to keep your cat indoors year-round anyway, but particularly in the spring and fall. And then also, it's really important if you have birds that are hitting your windows, they're usually seeing a reflection. So what you need to do is break up the reflection somehow. Some people say, oh, I got to put a silhouette out there. You don't need to put a silhouette out there. Actually, one of the best things that is cheap and easy to do, those fluorescent highlighters that you mark text with? Get the fluorescent ones, and then on the inside of the window you can just draw designs and little squiggles or whatever, and the birds see that fluorescent dye like a stop sign, and they'll stop hitting your window. And that really helps a lot. Billions and billions of birds are killed on windows annually. So in the last 20 years, across the board, we've lost 52% of the migratory birds that used to fill our skies. 52%. So the pressure's on. Anything we can do to try to help wild birds. They're responsible for seed distribution, insect control, rodent control. And if you look at it too, we need it for the beauty in our lives too. If you look at our language always reflects birds. On a wing and a prayer, fly high. All these sort of things. How beautiful a lark is when it ascends to the sky, and all these sort of things clue us in that this is a very important part of being on this planet, is the birds. So we're lucky that here in the New River Gorge we have quite a diversity of wild birds. A lot of places don't have the diversity that we have, and you can see it when you get outside the state particularly. But the New River Gorge is just an amazing place to go birding.
Absolutely. So I guess that's a good place to go during, spring migration to see a lot of these birds.
Yeah. And I don't know, I've talked to many people, and it always seems like there's one or two birds that when they come back in the springtime, that's when you really know it's spring. For me, it's wood thrushes. When the wood thrushes show up, I know it's spring, you know. We got them, you know.
Well, here's hoping we see them soon, because I'm ready.
Stuff's starting to green up, and the trees are starting to come together, so it's working.
Well, I'm glad, you know, there are ways that we can help out, you know, the bird population and help Three Rivers Avian Center, because, I mean, West Virginia is so, you know, big on the outdoors and nature, and birds are a big part of that. I mean, I don't think if we had all these birds there, it wouldn't be as interesting to, you know, see, and there'd probably be rodents all over the place. Hopefully some of them are picking up the snakes too, because I don't want to see those either.
There's a few that pick up snakes, yes. But just for the record, I like snakes too.
They just scare me.
Well, yeah, I understand. Yeah.
All right, and we are about to go out of this segment, but before we go, do you mind plugging the contact information just one more time so we can get some people over to see you all and see Don?
Okay. Our Facebook is at Three Rivers Avian Center on Facebook, and we also have a active website. It's www.tracwv.org. Our phone number is 304-466-4683.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Wendy, and thank you, Don, for joining us today. It was a great time. I know that a lot of our people in the studio had got a real kick out of seeing Don today. We spent a lot of time before the show started just looking at her, so she's absolutely a star. So thank you all again, you know, for coming, and hopefully, you know, the information that you gave us today can help out, you know, the bird population and help you all out as well. So,
well, thank you so much for the opportunity.
Absolutely. What you all do is important. So.
Thank you.
And thank you guys so much for joining us this Sunday. You be sure to tune in next week where we speak to more local success stories and, you know, people about what is going on here in Southern West Virginia. Thank you guys. Have a happy Sunday.